Hello there and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I'm your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and joining me is one Professor Levi.
Oh, boyos! How's it going?
You know, Travis was complimenting me that I was 2 weeks consecutive without any real clips. Congratulations for breaking my streak.
Sorry.
You rat bastard. We also have our friendly neighborhood lore keeper, Connor Chiquiti.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Yes, very happy to have you back. So, like, we're just... all we got to do is get Doling back on for, 1 week. And
Poor
then
guy.
Yeah.
The circle is now complete.
Yes. His schedule's been eating him alive. It's just so unfortunate.
Same.
We don't have a lot of news to talk about this week, but we do have two really big stories. One really big story, and then we have our Clone Wars review, as per the usual. With that, Levi, how was your week?
It was okay.
I know they can't see me, but I really hope that the audience knows that I am seething.
Yeah, I had a good week, actually. School ended yesterday for me for a week. I'm on spring break now. My past week, I got all the work done I needed to. Yeah. In general, I'm just in a good mood now.
I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
And now I get to go hang out with small children for 3 hours.
Yes, we do. Don't worry, I'm a teacher. It's not weird.
I'm going to kick your ass at skee ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese has skee ball.
Chuck E. Cheese does have skee ball.
Heck yeah.
Connor, how was your week, buddy?
Pretty good. Just got work done. Did some fallen order, naturally.
Never not on brand.
Yeah, right. Applied for 2 applications for internships at Washington for the summer.
Hey.
So, hoping to see how that goes. And just, I don't know, college work in general.
Nice, man.
So, yeah.
Well,
That
keep
sounds
killing
good.
it, buddy.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh. I do have one thing to share.
Yes.
I finally watched the video where...
We stopped for a second. I don't like to hide that stuff like Travis does. He's much better at making it sound seamless. But we stopped for a sec to check it. What were you saying, Levi?
I wish you would have told me. We were jumping right back into it while I was humming. I finally watched the
I
video
apologize.
where from the bloodstained Goofy came from. Yeah, I'll do it again. You know, have you ever seen that video?
What?
I've never actually seen the video. I thought it was just art.
I thought that's a video?
That's a video on YouTube. It's got 11 million views. Oh, it's beautiful. Gorge.
I'm pretty sure that is one black leader, Travis Grossman's favorite thing on the internet.
I thought that was just art.
It's
that
a video.
Someone made.
It's a video.
Me too. That's great.
My life has been changed.
Yeah, look,
I don't
Connor.
know if it's for the better or for the worse, but
Connor, you look it up yourself. Jared, I can show you afterward.
okay.
It cannot
I'm
be.
looking forward to
I'll
it.
just type in. I can do it again.
Yeah.
Video.
Real quick, not to get political, I don't think this Twitter account can be talked about enough. There's a Twitter bot called Donald Jar Jar Trump
What?
that within seconds
It's not me.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
I hope not.
That within seconds of President Trump tweets the same thing but in Gungan speak.
Holy crap! That's
And-
actually amazing.
And Trump just tweeted tweeted a video from his rally in South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
The tweet just simply reads, "Thank you, South Carolina," in all caps. But the Donald Jar Jar
You said thanking you, sir.
said, "Thank you, South Carolina." I love this account so much. You You don't understand. I live for when my phone lights up with a Donald Jar Jar notification.
Oh,
Hold on.
that's beautiful.
Oh, like my favorite is their pin tweet from November of 2017. Melania's a bombard and very hard job and first lady who truly loves what she's doing. Always thinking that if you surrender, you will win. She would tell everyone that. No doubt, he's to win. Misa also felt Misa would win, or Misa would not have run. Go follow Donald Jar Jar Trump. That's the biggest takeaway from this episode.
Oh,
you know,
my.
if you take nothing else from this episode today, but thank you, South Carolina.
That's amazing.
That's who I want to interview on this show.
Is the president we need,
but the president we deserve.
Wow.
President we deserve. We earned Donald Jar Jar Trump. We had this coming. That's fun. My week was pretty decent. Working a lot. The club I bartend at does these huge fish fries for Lent. So Wednesday and yesterday, at the time of this recording, as we record on Saturdays now, was hell on wheels. I'm still relatively new with the whole bartending thing. So it's very much a baptism by fire going on with the big Lent fish fry crowd. But it's been a lot of fun so far. That, and then, like I said, today, time of recording on Leap Day, is my little sister Kira's birthday. So happy birthday, Kira.
Happy birthday,
Kira.
Yeah, she's a Leap Day baby. So it's technically only her second.
How does that work?
So typically, and it's funny because both myself, my brother, and my sister all have these like really awkward birthdays to have in this area. Like my brother Logan is born on October 17th. So with him, his birthday and subsequent birthday parties always conflicted with Fort Ligonier days.
Oh.
And when you have a mother who works in the who bartends, you're tied up with the Fort Days crowd.
Yes, you are.
Kira's birthday, more years than not doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of trying to schedule it, and you factor into that. Okay, we're dealing with like late February into March. Typically, you then in this area, in this school district, have to work around, both basketball, the musical, all that stuff that goes on in the area, plus Lent. And, figuring out, feeding people around that. And then with my birthday, same thing. We're like, I'm always stuck in that. Like, I'm right on top of Easter. I'm right on top of Easter and or during Lent. Again, the musical and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we always have had like really weird birthday party dates. Like there were a couple years where like we just didn't even have a party for me until April. Where it was like it's just easier that way. Like Kira's birthday party last year was the day before my 21st birthday.
Oh wow!
Because it was just such a scheduling nightmare otherwise.
Wow.
Oh yeah, fun fact, listeners: Kira was actually born in the 1970s, but since her birthday only happens every 4 years, she's remained younger, and Jared has actually passed her up.
She's technically the oldest of the family. But yeah, Kira's 8 today, but I'm only ever going to tell her she's 2. It's more fun that way. She gets very angry when I do that. But yeah. With that said, Project Luminous has finally been brought to fruition. Yes, indeed. And as ugly as Star Wars Twitter discourse is, and as much as I like
as ugly as Star Wars discourse is.
Yes. Twitter discourse in particular.
It just fits well in Twitter.
Yeah. It's a match made in hell. that said, I'm just gonna say it. Jason Ward was right. Making Star Wars was right on what was happening with the High Republic, as a surprise to pretty much nobody. So the only real difference between what Jason was reporting and what we got was the timeline. Originally, if you guys remember when the rumors first broke for the High Republic, it was saying it was going to be approximately 400 years before the events of the films. Now we're looking at a 200-year gap between whatever our first story canonically, chronologically for the High Republic will be, and the timetable of the Phantom Menace and Master and Apprentice and stuff like that. That said, oh my God.
Lots they can do.
I know.
I was so when I found out about the High Republic, I was eating dinner. I was sitting at the table. I was eating some fish.
Yes.
Travis has me on that diet, which I'm gonna try so hard to stay on today.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be difficult. I love Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I
don't have an opinion.
I love it so much, and I hate how much I love it, but I love it. So I'm gonna have a crisis of spirit there, but I was sitting there. I was eating my my tilapia
with asparagus.
Yes, and I just I see Twitter start buzzing. And I open it up and I see that image of Light of the Jedi, the cover, and like audibly went, holy, a word that Levi prefers me not use on the air when he's on. One that Connor and I both have a propensity for. But
last week you did it.
I did. Mm-hmm. I did.
We can substitute Star Wars swear words.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
you should actually.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Carabast. But I'm really excited for this. So we're gonna get straight to the point here. I'm going to read directly from the StarWars.com article and get our information right from the Bantha's mouth. I was going to say a different animal, but I don't feel like I'm entitled to even talk. Lucasfilm to launch Star Wars: The High Republic publishing campaign in 2020.
Whoa.
Later this year, Lucasfilm will launch an epic new era of Star Wars storytelling that will be explored through multiple voices in adult and young adult novels, children's books, and comics from a variety of publishers, including Disney, Lucasfilm Press, Del Rey, IDW, and Marvel. Star Wars: The High Republic has previously been referred to as Project Luminous, will be set in the era when the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order were at the zenith, about 200 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. This period on the Star Wars timeline will not overlap with any of the film features or series currently planned for production, giving creators and partners a vast amount of room to tell Star Wars stories with new adventures and original characters.
How about that?
Sweet.
Getting some of the amazing concept art, getting lots of purple lightsaber love, which makes me happy.
And pink, which has apparently pissed people off.
See, it's always like, I've only ever seen like a quote unquote pink lightsaber in the same way that you have dark blue and light blue lightsabers. Like, it's probably just a brighter purple.
Yeah. That's wow. Oh, that's actually a good point.
I don't know, just because like I don't think like an actual pink would like look right. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those colors that just kind of looks.
Okay.
If that makes sense, like
the
orange and the yellow, because you can.
Something's
it's
happening
like with Fallen Order and how like there's some shades of blue.
My earphone.
Yeah, because like I don't know how to put this. You can do like a turned down version of orange and yellow for the lightsaber blades that aren't that aren't like traffic cone orange, but like pink is pink. And
pink should be a Sith color.
I mean, if you actually look at it on like a color gradient, Vader's lightsaber in Empire is pink.
Really?
Yeah, that's in like the saber community. Whenever you have people doing like the crazy custom stuff, there is a shade of red referred to as Vader pink or Vader red that has just like a teensy bit of pink put in it to get that like really vibrant glow that it has.
Very nice. Very nice.
Anyway, We are so excited to be opening up such a rich, fertile era for our authors to explore, says Lucasfilm president and Star Wars savior Kathleen Kennedy. We'll get to see the Jedi in their prime. Star Wars The High Republic features the Jedi as we've always wanted to see them, as true guardians of peace and justice. This is a hopeful, optimistic time when the Jedi and Galactic Republic are at their height. But of course, into this new glorious era, something wicked this way comes, says Lucasfilm Publishing creative director Michael Siglin. This initiative will give readers, young and old, a new corner of the galaxy to explore through rich, meaningful stories. Plus, readers will learn what scares the Jedi.
Fair.
Nothing to fear but fear itself. This is a golden age for the Jedi and also a time of galactic expansion in the Outer Rim. So expect there to be rich tales of exploration, charting out the galaxy, meeting new cultures, and discovering what pioneer life in the Outer Rim was like. This is an incredible sandbox for our storytellers to play in, both within publishing and beyond. We can't wait to see what the great fiction they build within it, says Lucasfilm Vice President, Franchise and Content Strategist James Whoa. As previously announced, Star Wars The High Republic has enlisted top-tier fan favorite authors Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Cavan Scott, and Charles Soule to craft this new era of Star Wars publishing. The first books and comics are set to debut at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim in August 2020 with Star Wars The Light of the
Jedi.
Yeah, Star Wars High Republic Light of the Jedi. A massive interconnected story that's told across various formats by various publishers. The first wave of High Republic titles includes... We have Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, where we have a Caucasian Jedi Knight with a green lightsaber, and I believe an African American. I want to say she's some type of Republic person. She's holding a thermal detonator. She's about to blow some shit up. We have A Test of Courage, the Justina Ireland, mid-grade novel. I really love this Jedi, the look of his outfit. I like my Jedi with capes, and I'm getting a lot of cape Jedi, which makes me happy.
Capes should unironically be the fashion of today.
We had this conversation the other day, and I agree.
Capes and cloaks. No, bring him back.
To steal a running bit on one of my favorite podcasts, I agree with you completely. I also like that aesthetically, a lot of the lightsabers that we've seen them using so far kind of fall into the same aesthetic of the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers. In that there's a very big emphasis during the ceremony at Savvy's where you build the lightsaber on tradition. And the lightsaber is a weapon engraved into time immemorium. So I love this idea that you're building what looks like what was used hundreds of years ago. Yeah. And I it is all falling into that aesthetic very much.
Very nice.
Like I said, we have that. We have the IDW comic, High Republic Adventures, with a Jedi who is going to make all the furries happy. We have the Marvel High Republic series that has that has our new baddies, the Nile, on it, and then we have the cover that leaked right before the actual press conference, with a Jedi who looks remarkably like Jodie Whittaker of Doctor Who fame.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that on Twitter, yeah.
And the Jedi to the right of her kind of looks like what I think Rami Malek will look like in about 10 years.
To her right or our right?
To our right. Mm-hmm. The Jedi with the blue lightsaber. The one that's not a Wookiee. Yeah, the one that's not a Wookiee or a Twi'lek.
Dude, the Wookiee, oh my...
I knew that would have made you happy. But yeah, we have...
Once again, we get another aesthetically pleasing Twi'lek girl. Still absolutely zero live-action good-looking Twi'lek men.
Live action.
Yeah.
In live action, yes.
Yeah.
Like I said,
You have Cham Syndulla. Cham.
yeah, Cham.
Cham Syndulla, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he's the only one that's not. No, he doesn't have a live action appearance.
No,
There's one that
he's
looks
the only
like
decent
him.
looking one.
There's one that there's an orange Twi'lek in Rogue One with Saw Gerrera's partisans.
Oh yeah,
that I remember a lot of people like, ooh, was that Cham? Was that Cham? And then later in the movie, they're like, General Syndulla, please report. And they're like, okay, there's no way they put both Cham and Hera in this movie in some way.
yeah.
But yeah, so they talked a lot about how we have Connor. I know this is a term that has excited you very much. Our sinister space Vikings, the Nile, which
that's dope.
Which exude the energy of I'm lost on the name, but Immortan Joe's gang, or oh my god, wait, the War Boys. That kind of give me War Boy energy from Mad Max Fury Road, and that very
A lot of people have given similarities to Mad Max when talking about the Nile.
Yeah, and I think that
Nile.
It's Star Wars. None of the names are ever going to not be on the nose. But
yeah, it's you thought we were gonna be subtle. Think again.
The most subtle...
Savage oppress.
The most subtle moment... Yeah.
I love the character. Yeah.
I hate the character, and it makes me laugh every time. I love... I think the most subtle bit of Star Wars visual storytelling ever, that I love hearing fanboys who don't do the whole you don't get Star Wars like I do type thing. Talk about as though it's incredibly deep. Is Luke's outfit at Return of the Jedi? He's wearing black to symbolize that he's found he's in touch with the dark side inside him. But in the moment he fights Vader and gets struck by Palpatine's lightning, his white flap comes down, showing that there's been light inside him the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Wow. And it's just yeah, we know. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
That and the hilariously on the nose but accidental moment where Anakin's shadow in Attack of the Clones is Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie when he hugs Padme on Tatooine.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to the audio commentary, and George Lucas was like, "We didn't make that happen, but we couldn't help ourselves. It was there." His shadow was Vader. I didn't know that was gonna happen. None of us did, but we were all happy with it.
We didn't make it happen.
Yeah. so I walked up to the shadow and I was faster and more intense.
Oh, dude, shit. No, never mind.
What's up?
This is something with Fallen Order. It's just there was a little. There was a in Fallen Order little side blurb that just reminded me for some reason. There's a reference to old Battlefront 2. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
I got the biggest grin on my face.
Like I said before on TNAP, I didn't mention it on. I don't know if I did mention. Did I mention that I've been playing Ultimate Alliance 2 on here again? Well, I've been playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 again out of sheer nostalgia. And twice in the campaign, they make it the bigger they are, the harder they fall joke.
Oh yeah,
and it's
nice.
Really distracting.
Huh.
Not as the Battlefront reference, just in the whole it's a saying type way. And because people who play Battlefront know the exact intonation of the way you're supposed to say the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
But within Ultimate Alliance 2, there's a scene where you're a bunch of the robots of whatever side, the opposing side you chose. There's a bigger one that comes out, and you're with Bishop, and he's just oh, you know what they say, the bigger they are, and then he doesn't finish the sentence. And then later you fight Goliath, and you hear Black Widow over your communications. It's you know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall after you beat him. It's Did y'all forget you said this 3 hours ago?
Wow.
Anyway, one of my biggest questions, especially in like a post Old Republic times in Star Wars, is always going to be what is this? What are the Sith up to?
Right. I was thinking that. I was thinking we could be getting like a cameo of maybe the Sith almost being found out.
Something like
and
that.
And then covering their tracks. That could maybe tie into, you know, the fall of the Jedi from their zenith.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean...
how they slowly become like dogs of the Republic.
Yeah, totally. And I remember, you know, back in Legends with the best example, and I come back to it a lot, is with the Plagueis novel.
Yeah.
How they made it very clear that like almost any time the shit hit the fan in a big way in the galaxy, the Sith were behind it. And maybe not necessarily directly, but, you know, Plagueis and Tenebris and Sidious were always just kind of like funneling money towards the right groups that would raise hell. They, you know, would cost Jedi lives, would cost Jedi their reputation, would cost the Republic its influence. And I'm very interested to see if the Nihil are an arm of the Sith and are in some way, maybe not knowingly, subservient to the Sith. Because I think, you know, in that very like, you know, Batman and Joker, like, you know, you have like the ultimate like, you know, I am the law, I am order, and the ultimate like, you know, pure chaos. I feel like the Nihil are as far away from the Jedi as you can possibly get, even further from the Sith, from what they've said. And I remember one of the creators behind the High Republic, in that video that they released, which was amazing, said something to the effect of the philosophy of the Nihil is you can't take it with you, but we'll take it from you.
Yeah.
And,
I just love how he said that they were described as space Vikings.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's dope.
So I really want to see if there's a, you know, if they're being funded by the Sith, if they know they are, like this concept art right here, like I can't tell if it's a Zabrak with this again very Mad Maxian helmet on, but he has Sith tattoos, or at least what we commonly consider Sith tattoos.
Yeah. I think it does look like a zebra.
Yeah, he looks like Zabrak.
You know, and like, and again, you know, that's old canon stuff, and the tattoos could very well just be like, oh, it's specifically a Zabrak or Night Brother thing.
Yeah.
But
is Mother Talzin alive right now in the High Republic?
I don't know her known age. Perhaps
because she's like immortal or some stupid
in some
stuff.
capacity. Yeah, I mean, like she's dead by the time of Fallen Order. At the very least, couldn't be bothered with.
Does she show up in Fallen Order?
There's a lot of Night Sister action.
But there's a lot of Night Sister action and everything.
Okay,
not
I thought
lot of Night Sister lore.
She died in the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars,
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm very excited about that. You know, talking about, you mentioned Levi with like, you know, is this what happens to the Jedi? This is how we arrive at their downfall. I was tweeting about this earlier this week, that like this whole idea of what scares the Jedi, like what should scare the Jedi is the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but they haven't been around.
But they haven't been around, or at least they don't know that they're around.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennia.
Yeah.
So what does scare the Jedi?
It's funny, too, because apparently the person that brought up that question of what scares the Jedi was Kathleen Kennedy herself.
Yeah, look me in the eye and tell me she's not one of the best things that ever happened to Star Wars.
Yeah, according to Amy Ratcliffe, so when she tweeted out, and I'm like, yes.
Well, because you got to figure, and I said this in that little Twitter thread I had going about this. The Jedi, if the Jedi are legitimately scared by a threat, that says a lot about whoever they're going toe-to-toe with. Now, granted, the Jedi have, in theory, not been in action for a while. Obviously, there's going to be disputes. There's going to be things that they have to handle. But at its core, they haven't gone to war. They haven't had to, fight, dedicated Jedi killers in a long time. So the fact that they go, oh no,
not war.
Victory has made them weak.
Yeah. Not even necessarily victory's made them weak. It's just like they're out of practice, and then there's a level of like, oh, it's been a while since we've had to go toe to toe with a legitimate threat. And I think that potentially their ability to beat the Nihil, because, we know that the Jedi are around, the Phantom Menace has to happen. So eventually the Nihil will be defeated in some way, shape, or form. But once the Nihil falls, is that the moment they go, shit, we can handle ourselves. We got this. And that, that gets the ball rolling in that era of decadence and, latent arrogance. I really want to know, again, like what scares a Jedi? Well, why didn't the Sith? Why didn't they take it seriously until it was too late? Because, the Sith show up out of nowhere and murder one of their best. And then that's not to count the other Jedi that Maul killed just for sport. What fell? I couldn't tell. But, that's not to count the other Jedi that Maul murdered, and the Jedi were like, oh, okay, that's weird. And only went, hey, what's up with the Sith? And then they got genocided. We
haven't heard from these guys in forever.
Wait, so Yoda, when he was talking to Samurai Darth Bane, he knew about the Rule of Two. He knew about Bane. Yeah. Did that happen after Menace? Did he learn about that after Qui-Gon?
That was
killed,
another thing I want to get into. Is that was like,
because if they knew about the Rule of Two,
to figure out immortality, like how to Force Ghost.
Well, no, he was saying that like, when did Yoda himself discover the concept of the Rule of Two? Because
when did that become Jedi knowledge?
Okay. Exactly, because like he's talking, Yoda brings it up at Qui-Gon's funeral. Always two there are, no more, no less, a master and an apprentice.
But who was the master? And who was the apprentice?
Camera pans directly to Palpatine, the only person grinning at the Jedi funeral.
Jar Jar grins for half a second.
Shut up. Shut up.
No.
You're uninvited. I was actually watching Alex and Molly Damon's video, the Star Wars Explained video, their weekly Q&A that was all about High Republic stuff this week. And they brought up that, like, maybe Yoda goes on some type of fact-finding mission. And maybe. That, he goes, okay.
Jimmy, I need that. Oh.
And that we go.
That'd be dope.
And then that he finds, like, okay, there's some Sith shit going on here. Yeah. Like maybe not like Sith, but
some
like
dark side juju.
Yeah, there's some dark side juju here. Like maybe, again, we're 800, like, and again, this is where like all the weird eras become kind of hard, or not necessarily hard, but like you got to keep your mind on it, is that we are 800 years past the old Republic. So by now, Bane is long dead.
Correct.
So you can have, in theory, Yoda find old things Bane left behind that Yoda could theoretically go, oh, but he's dead. So this threat is a nothing burger. And we haven't seen them
burger.
And we haven't seen the Sith for 800 years up to that point, and then for another 200 years by the time that Ki-Adi Mundi, this has been a thing for a millennia. What about the droid attack of the Wookiees? So by the time we get there, how long have the Sith been dead for? I like at that point. Again, the Jedi should have taken that threat seriously once they showed back up, but I can't blame them for going, yeah, we handled that. They're gone.
They're gone. Yeah. Look, it's just I think
I don't know.
I don't know.
The thing with the Jedi, the thing with the Jedi and the Sith is that like it's the only time a "did I leave the stove on" type question resulted in a genocide. Like, did I get rid of all the Sith?
Mhm.
Is there still one kicking around out there?
I feel like I forgot something.
Yeah, I feel like I forgot something.
Well, if you forgot, then it wasn't important.
Yeah, well,
You're probably right. Darth Bane standing in the
cuts
rain,
a Moraband Darth Bane training Darth
cutting
Zana.
every raindrop.
Those are one of the I follow so many like Star Wars Versus series, and anytime Bane is involved, I literally I have my eye on the little timeline, how far you are into the video, and I'm like counting down the seconds for. And in the novelization, Bane was said that he could deflect raindrops. Like, what the? Who the hell writes shit like that? Like, I'm like nothing against. Who was it? Drew Karpyshyan, who did the Bane trilogy. Yeah. Nothing against it, and I understand that phrase.
It's
but
quite a flex.
It is quite the flex. But I also don't think it was literal. Although everybody in the Versus community was like, Bane was so fast, he could block raindrops. Like, anyway, I digress. How do you guys feel about the visual aesthetic of this era so far?
I'm liking it.
I really like it. It shows that the Jedi are at the height of their power, like during this time before their downfall. I also really I think the one thing that really caught my attention was how the Jedi during this time are described as Texas Rangers guarding the frontier of the galaxy. I was just hooked right then and there. And I just can't wait for that concept to be played out in the stories. And I think just some of the concept art showed that. And I'm pretty sure there was one guy who had like a pretty rugged look, and he literally had a holster for his lightsaber that literally looked like a gun holster. So that was dope.
Subtlety.
But yeah.
Subtlety. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not
Subtlety,
surprised.
right?
Well, we do have a clone now that is just Rambo. So.
Yeah, Rambo Fett.
Yeah, but I like the for at least the Jedi Temple attire for the concept art. That's really cool. It's like very it sort of reminds me of like Renaissance era paintings of sorts, and just the Renaissance era dress.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things that they went for, is that they were talking about the Jedi of this era as, Jedi Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah. No, that was cool when they described them as that.
Courtly love.
What was
There's
that?
going to be some courtly love.
Oh, I hope so.
Ooh, I hope it's Yoda and Maz. Yoda and Maz Kanata
That's how we end up with the child.
have a baby. It's how we end up with Even Peel.
Yeah, even Peel. Oh my God!
That's not where I
Oh
thought
my God!
And he doesn't know.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know. Oh, that's how Evan Peel ended up on the council. Just pure nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's funny as hell. Oh my God! That is one hell of a conspiracy theory.
That's funny.
See, I will take 1,000 Evan Peel as Yoda and Maz Kanata's bastard child from you over a single Darth.
Oh my God.
Over a single Darth.
Dude, the evidence is overwhelming.
But it was funny when I was like checking my Twitter for the announcement, and unsurprisingly, I was playing Fallen Order. So like when I finished my playthrough and started reading through the news, I think I was still like on that high. So when I was reading through, I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty dope. And then just that, and then it was just that for maybe the next hour or so, because I was still just on that Fallen Order high / kind of still playing it a bit. But like once that wore off, which it almost never does, I was like, oh shoot, this is actually really cool.
Well, what's really fun is with the poncho and outfit options in Fallen Order, you can basically wear High Republic outfit.
Yeah.
There's that one poncho that's like white with a gold trim, and then if you pair that off with the like beige jumpsuit, you look like all the Jedi in this.
Nice.
Does Fallen Order have a sombrero DLC?
No,
It does
but there
not.
is a poncho that
There's
has
a
a
lot of
huge Clint
ponchos.
Eastwood vibes though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just remembered a way that Fallen Order could tie into the High Republic is the Zepho.
I was waiting for you to say it. I didn't want to bring up the Zepho. Like I did not feel comfortable taking that away from you.
No, you're good. No, I just could see it because, like, I feel like the Jedi during this time as well could be just figuring out other perceptions of the Force to, like, then holistically complete their perception of the Force, and the Zepho could be a way of exploring that path. Plus, just more story on the Zepho. I mean,
oh yeah, very very aesthetically interesting species they are.
They're very I don't know, they're ancient.
Yeah,
That's probably the best way I can put it. I
Any-
love
sorry.
Claudia Gray's book, Into the Dark. Like the description of it. He's the kind of Padawan who would prefer to read about adventures, but now he's leaving Coruscant and going to the frontier of the galaxy. And I'm just like, inject that into my veins. I need it.
Yeah. Where are the descriptions at, Connor? Or if you could pull them up so you can read them? I mean, they're all like
It's literally just on Twitter. I'm literally just on Twitter.
Okay. I thought they
So,
had I thought they had a bigger synopsis for everything that I wasn't seeing on the website.
Yeah, no, because that clip says, like, they want the Jedi in this era to look distinct from what we know because it's so long ago. The temple ensembles are heavy on white and gold. The mission looks are more rugged. And then she also says the idea of the High Republic is to try new things for Star Wars that we've never seen, but that it still feels like Star Wars.
Yeah, and I love that very much. And Levi, you and I were having this conversation before we started and got on the call with Connor.
Mhm.
But there, I think especially after seeing, how not necessarily well the fandom was, or sections of the fandom, I should say, were at handling seeing things we know told in a different way than what they remembered from Legends. I think it was a wise idea for them to go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a hot minute and we're just going to explore uncharted territory. And we're going to go to an era that even in Legends and how done to death almost everything in Legends was.
Yep.
I say this as someone who loves it. Go to an era that has not really gotten that much love. Because for the most part, the Star Wars histories are, here's what was happening thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years before the movies. Okay, here's what happened about 1,000 years before the movies. Okay, here are the movies.
Yeah, it's very just like broad.
Because nobody wanted to do either we can tell stories with the characters we know, or we can do big army of Sith, big army of Jedi, charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that middle chunk where there was nothing really. And I like that this can fall in there very nicely. I love the just how in every sense of the word diverse this whole spattering of Jedi look. Like between the fact that both diverse in a in the real world, real people looking at other real people. Like it's not just all white dudes, but on an in-universe level, there's a human here, there's a Twi'lek there, there's a Zabrak here, there's a Wookiee here, there's a Powan here. It is so many different species. It's very diverse on a lightsaber level. We're seeing lots of yellows, lots of purples. I'm waiting to see that actual canon orange for Spencer's sake. And especially the lightsaber types. I love on the cover of Light of the Jedi, that Wookiee, he has a broadsword lightsaber.
I know.
And it's not like a crossguard like Kylo's.
No.
That was literally my first instinct. I was like, oh my god, he has a crossguard. Then I looked more into it and I'm like, it's even better.
Well, I mean, granted, it could still. I mean, the crossguard could still emit lightsaber blades, and it's just deactivated in that picture. But I feel like they'd be showing that off.
With the size of it, I don't know if it's a broadsword. Could just be a sword saber.
Well, I know. I mean, in the same way that like Kylo's is meant to look like it'd be handled like a broadsword, like because it has the crossguard.
With the way he handled it, it looks like it had more weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is that like that?
Yeah, that looks like right. But.
Yeah, I mean, just in insofar as pretty much every lightsaber aesthetically and the way it's handled is kind of supposed to have like a katana type vibe.
Yeah,
and with like Dooku being the one main exception of he has like the equivalent of like a rapier or an epee for a lightsaber.
Well, that precision makes sense because it's weightless.
Yeah, and then you have Kylo with that. Yeah, I say broadsword because it has the crossguard on it. And like and we see a bunch of lightsabers that have that weird like that crossguard on it that does not have the blades coming through it like Kylo's does, or that lightsaber that Ezra picks up in that episode of Clone Wars on Moraband, or not on Moraband, on Malachor. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing like all these like new types of lightsabers. Give me the weird stuff. Give me light pikes. Give me the Tonfa guard shotos that like Mara's Brood used. I love seeing fun lightsaber designs, and I love seeing. Hold on. Let me just real quick because my phone lit up with another one of these gems. Let's go.
I forgot two things were. I mean, you guys have probably seen some of these people that are like, "Oh my gosh, a Wookiee Jedi! That's so cool!" and just like Gunji.
Yeah, like everybody forgets about the younglings.
My man's.
I love the younglings.
Didn't face and confront his fears on Ilum, and then subsequently build his own saber out of bark from his home planet.
Hell yeah.
To be disrespected like this.
Yeah, it hurts.
I will not stand for this slander.
We're supposed to have a 1:30 p.m. press conference at the White House to discuss the latest coronavirus developments. Thank you, Yusa. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get like tinily political. That's a word.
Tinily? I'm gonna use that now. It's not a word. Yeah. We'll make it one.
That's a word now.
It's in the TNAP. It's in the TNAP canon now.
Dude, I literally have a Word doc where it's just new words where I just write down. Yeah, the way he's handled this coronavirus, horrible. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the Great Disaster.
Yes, which is another thing that again, like, and again,
that sounds dope.
And again, maybe this is the Legends fanboy in me that like wants to see stuff from the old canon brought back, but like, anytime we're still in Rule of Two era Sith, there's a part of me that's like, oh, this was a Sith hit. This was a Sith hit. This is like anytime something goes wrong, my mind immediately goes, this was a Sith job. Mm-hmm. Like I look at the Sith the way that like conspiracy theorists look at the Illuminati. Like it always comes back to the Sith killing people.
Yeah. Or maybe
all this.
Maybe they'll make Vectivus canon again, and it'll be in the era when it's just him being a businessman.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Collecting dark side knowledge on the job.
Yeah, and he set the standard.
Yeah,
and that was Bane's whole intent was like we need to become brokers and politicians. Mm-hmm. Like we need to trade our armor for robes, and I love that mentality because again, that's how you arrive at Tenebris and Plagueis and characters like that. And I hope you're right. Like I really want to see just like
I hope it is Vectivus. Because he didn't get much love.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, but I think he's the only Sith, era of two at least.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Pretty much any Sith to die of old age.
Yeah, that we know of, at the very least during the Rule of Two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to know.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. And I really, like you said, Connor, like I want to know what the hell the Great Disaster is.
Like maybe have a Lex
The fact that
Luthor-esque,
it says the only thing we know
wait,
kind of
hold on,
smug and confident. You
Oh
know,
my God, Lex Luthor is a Sith Lord.
Shoot.
Ooh.
like something bad happens, shoots to Vectivus, like raising his eyebrows, maybe smirking.
Yeah.
Drink a little.
Yeah, Corellian brandy.
Yeah.
No, but as you were saying, Connor, I love that. I love that
the
aesthetic.
only thing we know about it so far is that it caused starships across the galaxy to be abruptly knocked out of hyperspace.
Yeah,
which is
that's
just
the other
like-
thing.
I didn't. That's possible. That's like that kind of reminds me. I don't. For some reason, when I read that, it kind of reminded me of the interdector star destroyers that like had those hyperspace gravity wells or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember the exact name. They could like literally pull ships out of hyperspace.
Yeah, I know what you're referring
It kind of
to.
reminded me of that.
What's that?
So, like,
What's that book? That
crackhead
came out?
speculation right now. I wonder if this will be a sort of possible catalyst for the Empire's technological advancements for those star destroyers.
No, so to start
I
somewhere.
could be completely wrong, but whatever. Crackhead theories.
What were you saying?
Travis has them all the time.
Yes, he does. As does Doling.
Yes.
And me. What was that book that came out few years ago? That dealt with the fear of a nationwide EMP taking the whole country off the grid.
Oh.
Because that's what that kind of reminds me of.
Like almost every post-apocalyptic novel.
No, there was one
No, there was a
that came out a
specific
while
one,
ago.
something with time, 7 hours or something.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But no, and like I that's another thing is, really experimenting with how hyperspace works finally, because that's always just been one of those things that like Star Wars never addressed. Because the second you
Soft
actually
magic, basically, for science.
it is because the second you
Which
try
is
to
fine.
explain hyperspace, like those are one of those
Yeah.
things that were set up, during the OT that have become one of those. Okay, once you explain this, you're going to contradict something big.
Mm-hmm.
Like eventually, you're going to try to come up with an explanation that covers all your bases, but you can't because of the myriad ways it's been used. So I am nothing but excited for this. I know all the Star Wars cosplayers out there are, kissing all of the money in their wallets goodbye. I know all the saber companies, your Ultra Sabers, your Saber Forge, Vader's Vault, what have you, Korribanth. Yeah, it's just like, ooh, yes, give us more images of these Jedi with wacky lightsabers. Like again, like the broadsword lightsabers, like Ultra Sabers 2 weeks ago
I still have to get a lightsaber.
released a
I don't have
lightsaber
one.
called the Rapier, and it's literally just a basket hilted rapier, but with the LEDs inside of it and the plastic carbon blade.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're gonna be getting all of these wacky ass lightsabers, and all of your cosplay companies are gonna be taking commissions for these elaborate robes and whatnot.
Yep.
There's a lot to look forward to here, and I look forward to reading the Charles Soule novel.
Dude, same. Because we've only read his Star Wars comics, so it'll be interesting to see how
That's another thing.
not really transitions because he's written novels, but like, for lack of a better term, transitions to like Star
transitions
Wars
for the
novel
people
writing.
who have only read his
comics.
Vader and Lando and What were you saying,
I
Levi?
still need to read There's so many comics I need to read.
With all of these different comic series tackling the High Republic, how are we gonna keep track of what's canon and what's not?
It's all canon.
It's all canon.
Yeah.
Every single one of it.
Yeah. Anything post Disney.
So will they be working together to make sure?
Yep.
Yeah, they
That's
said
cool. That's
that
cool.
it's funny that they said the pitch for this interconnected story was back in 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Yeah, no,
you gotta,
That's good, 'cause I don't wanna
interconnected
see-
Levi. Yeah.
you gotta
The
figure.
great dyad.
You know, and the golden rule when it comes to like canonicity is anything post Disney buying Star Wars is canon.
Right, but I just don't want to run into another scenario of, well, this is more
A
canon than
and,
that.
Yeah, A canon, B
You know.
canon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tier cannons, all that. And there's people that still argue that.
Mhm.
Well,
Get
and
off
again,
the
that's
horse.
why I love the Lucasfilm Story Group existing so much. Is that I don't have to, okay, like just random shit. Like, okay, how Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando. Okay, well, here are your 8 different answers to that question, and then here's the one book that tried to turn all 8 answers into one answer, or
Here's
one
a movie. Yeah.
one movie that tells you precisely how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Same like the Death Star plans. That was
He
another
tells it
one.
well.
It tells it well. Like that's another one that there's okay, well, it was an inside job because this one Imperial scientist leaked it to the rebellion, or it was Kyle freaking Katarn, or okay, how about it's just Normandy but Star Wars on Scarif? I'll take that because it is way more concise and less convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
Little
It's like
things
Normandy
like that.
and spy work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Death Star was an inside job. I don't know, it is, but just I don't know, just the way putting it that way.
technically, the Death Star is still an inside job with an Imperial scientist.
Yeah,
But
it's just putting it that way makes it a lot funnier.
with that, transition.
Speaking of inside jobs.
Yeah, speaking of inside jobs, you're right, Levi.
Who killed Kennedy?
That transition was nice. I was going to try to pull a Travis and pretend we didn't stop, but
Oh,
who killed Kennedy?
yeah, the inside job.
Yep. Not Kathleen, John F. But we are going to get right into our Clone Wars review. Connor, are you still there, or are you just remarkably quiet?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would be there either way. Are you
I'll be
here
there
or are you
in spirit.
just abnormally quiet? Him being quiet implies that he's there.
Well, yeah. I was just like, if I didn't get a response, he wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I'm here. We're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Situation normal.
Normally, I could hear some type of rattling going on your side or something to tell, just ambient noise. So, what did we think of A Distant Echo? Which, again, very on the nose name.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
It's not subtle at all.
Nope.
It was
Because
good.
he's not all there.
To
Good
me,
job,
it felt
Levi.
a little short.
It did. It felt really brisk.
It did.
Like
Like he
it
was
was
in.
nice with what they set up and what they started to continue with that animosity between the Bad Batch and Rex's, the regulars. That's just something I really liked. Rex actually finding Echo was pretty emotional. That got me a bit. I just, dude, when in the beginning when Anakin is contacting Padme and Rex is just trying to stand there nonchalant, as normal.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the general.
That was so funny. And then when Obi-Wan goes, I know, or whatever he says, I was just like, oh,
At least,
Sorry.
I think he was said, at least tell me you said hi to Padme for me.
I love that
tell me
so
so-
much.
I'm like,
I'm so glad we're
oh.
going right into the Padme scene.
She looks to already be pregnant.
Yes, which
yeah, that's what I noticed too.
because when the trailer first came out, she had a very clear bump,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and I remember everybody was like, "There's no way Anakin does not know she's pregnant.
Yeah.
How does he not know she's pregnant in the trailer?" This time,
dude, Anakin is a dumbass.
the biggest dumbass in the galaxy, which we knew, but
he's a Skywalker.
but with this one, her tummy is not quite as big, but
But
her hand
it's-
never leaves it,
Yeah.
and you feel like
They're good. There's gotta be you can pick up on it, Anakin. It's not that hard.
I always go back to Obi-Wan's words in A New Hope. He was a cunning warrior and a great friend and pretty goddamn obtuse, but we won't get into that right now. But like, how do you not notice this? She never like stops holding her stomach. Like, hey, are you feeling all right? Did you eat some like bad Kadoo earlier? You little queasy? Is that why you're home? Yeah. No, you knocked me up with the next trilogy. But I love that scene. I love the way Anakin confides in her. I've always said that I've always loved Darth Vader, but the Clone Wars made me truly fall in love with Anakin and made me start to like Padme, and Queen's Shadow made me fall in love with Padme. This is and as somebody who quite loves their characters independent of each other, I have never been like truly latched on to like the Annie Dalla relationship.
Same.
I like it. I understand why it's important. And
I'm not much of a shipper outside of Fallen Order, but what a surprise there.
And I'm not much of a shipper outside of Reylo, honestly.
Yeah,
like I've never been like I understand their relationship, but I've always looked at it through that lens of I know where this is headed, I know where this ends, and I understand that like even George Lucas said while writing it, it's meant to be an inherently toxic and possessive love.
Oh,
but
I did not know. I didn't know that. I just forgot.
Yeah, well, because Anakin isn't worried about saving Padme's life to preserve her life so much as it's I can't live without her.
Yeah.
It's very much like the reverse of what Ben does for Rey.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh no, I'll happily, you need to live. I'm okay if it means not with me. Mm-hmm. Where with Anakin, it's like, no, you can't die because I can't function without you.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is like, this was the first time that I was able to look at Anakin and Padme as a couple and like really rejoice in it. Because you had that moment of that where he's like, he's like, I think Rex is thinking with his heart here. I don't think his head is in the game. I think he's going in headlong. And Padme immediately chin checks. I was like, yeah, sounds familiar, Anakin. I wonder who could have taught him to act like a total psychopath when his friends are involved. I wonder who he learned that from, General.
No, I loved when she said, basically just be there for Rex. Or like, that got me a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, and I love it so much. I really hope this isn't the only Padme love we get this season. I really hope we get some more of her.
That being,
because, obviously I don't think Padme's going to have a whole lot to do in the Siege of Mandalore, nor with the Ahsoka's walkabout stuff. And there's, like, that middle chunk of the season that we don't know about. Because, like, we have the Bad Batch stuff. We're going to have the Ahsoka post-leaving the Jedi arc. We have Mystery arc, and then the Siege of Mandalore.
Wait, it's 12 episodes, right?
Yeah, so four arcs of 3 episodes.
I thought there were 4 episodes.
No, because we have Bad Batch.
I thought Bad Batch was 4 episodes.
No, Bad Batch, Distant Echo, and On the Wings of whatever the name of those creatures are. And then there's
those creatures are I want to know more about that society.
They kind of reminded me of the bat thing from Fallen Order. The Gorak, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then like there's 3 episodes of the Ahsoka thing, and then like three random episodes just laying about, and then 3 for the Siege of Mandalore. I think I could be wrong.
I literally could have sworn it was.
I might be wrong, and it's just 3 arcs of 4 episodes, but. Regardless, I love that moment so much. I love the fact that Rex knows. And I love like you can start checking the boxes as to who all knows about Anakin and Padme at this point.
Ahsoka knows.
So yeah, Ahsoka figured it out.
Yeah.
Clearly he told Rex.
Rex knows. Obi-Wan has to know.
I think Obi-Wan knows that something is going on. I don't think he recognizes to what extent. I think if Obi-Wan was asked, like, what do you think is going on with Anakin and Padme? I think his answer would be, he's sleeping with her. I don't think Obi-Wan's knee-jerk reaction would be, they're secretly married.
Right, but he knows they're together.
He knows that something's going on. I don't think
he's not speaking out because he'd be a hypocrite if he did.
I think it's less of a hypocrite. Well,
he thinks he understands.
I wouldn't go that far as to say hypocrite because Obi-Wan recognized that, like, he said he was prepared to leave the Order. Anakin isn't. Oh, yeah. You know, like Obi-Wan said, like, if things got serious between us, I would have chosen you. Where Anakin is like chosen.
Had you asked, I would have left the Order. And I'm like, I remember as a kid, I don't think as a kid, that probably went over my head. But I remember rewatching Clone Wars like a few summers ago, and I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah. And
no, but he understands
that
feeling.
Oh, totally.
You know, and he's not gonna.
Which makes it even more tragic that like Anakin doesn't think he can talk to him about it. You know, and maybe he couldn't. Maybe Obi-Wan, when being told you're married, like you just don't have a thing for her, you're married to her with child on the way. What? Maybe he would have freaked out. But I just I hope you told Padme that I said hello. I'm like, Obi-Wan, you snarky bastard, I love you. It was so good. It was that was great.
You think Dooku knows?
I don't
Dude, at this point,
I don't think Dooku knows. I think
Sidious knows.
Yeah, Palpatine knows.
Does his blue Twi'lek looking but not quite a Twi'lek guard know?
No, Mazameda?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because he seems to know that he's Sidious or something.
Yeah,
he's a mystery.
I feel like Mazameda just doesn't ask any questions. Like,
I want a story on him like now that I think about it.
Like Palpatine just walks in the room like with like carbon scoring from a lightsaber duel all over his getup, with his face looking like a scrotum now, and Palpatine just looks at Mazameda, and Mazameda's like, do you want wings?
How's it
like,
going?
Yeah, like, do you want me to go get you something? Do you need
rough day?
Do you need ointment? I'm not gonna.
Checked.
Yeah. He's like Lucius Fox in that way in the Dark Knight trilogy, where Lucius Fox was like, I know you're Batman, but like, do you need a new tank? Like, I'm not gonna say the words Batman to you, but like,
yeah,
you're Batman. And the same with Mazameda's like, you're vile. You're a horrible human. I have a job to do. I'm a professional.
Yeah.
But holy shit. But that, my opinion, doesn't matter here.
Yeah.
Mazameda's going to do whatever the hell he's told to do and keep his head down. Except for in the Vader comic, because I know Connor's read it. I don't think you have. But like Mazameda, like a little bit of his inner psychopath comes out in like one of the first panels. Because they're like gathering up like a bunch of Jedi paraphernalia, including a bunch of lightsabers, including Yoda's specifically from inside of the Senate arena. And Mazameda like picks up Yoda's, ignites it, holds up, and is like, "We got Yoda's lightsaber, bitches!" And like throws it in a furnace.
I don't think he ignited it. He just like held it up as a trophy and then just tossed it into the fire.
I thought he turned it on, but yeah, he just he just waves it around and then yeets it in a fire, and it's just it's glorious. Like I said,
Mazameda.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yeah, Mazameda. Yeah, he also shows up in Aftermath.
Really?
Yeah, he makes it
in the Aftermath trilogy.
Yeah, he survives the distance inexplicably.
He needs a story. He needs his own comic.
That would be like
the inside mind of Mazameda.
The two stories.
So that'd be a dope show. I'd watch that.
Yeah,
it'd be like the Deep Throat shit, like for like with Watergate.
Was he the guard for Valorum too?
Yeah,
yeah.
He was just
he was there for all.
Yeah,
of them.
He's just everybody's VP. Well, the two stories. Well, you can kind of combine them, but like now that you brought that up too. That I've always wanted to see, and we can get more into detail about this, as I want to do like a pitch episode where we all just like here's my ideal Star Wars story. Is since we all obviously know how Order 66 and Operation Nightfall went down, I want a story.
Is Nightfall canon?
I mean, I'm referring to it as that.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, like, when the clones siege the temple and then the Jedi got genocided, I want a story that is I want the Sith cover up. I want the details on, I want the bullshit they fed the galaxy about Mace. Mm-hmm. I want the version where like the Jedi instigate the fight. Like, I want to know what the Sith cover up is. Because like, and that's what, like, one of my favorite parts of the Revenge of the Sith novelization is whenever Mace Windu and Kit Fisto, Stacey Tin, and Aiden Kolar come in, Palpatine, and you don't see it in the movie, but Palpatine like presses a button on his desk and records the audio of everything happening in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he plays it for the Senate when he shows up looking the way he looks. And basically frames the audio as though Mace Windu's like, you know, you're coming with us.
They're taking over.
Yeah, you're coming with us. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. And then basically makes it sound like Mace Windu goes crazy, murders the other 3 Jedi, and then goes after Palpatine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he wow.
So something like that, where like Palpatine like manipulates everything going on, and like, you know, you can't include Anakin in any of that, because how the hell does Luke Skywalker not know that his father is quote unquote national hero who saved the Chancellor?
Mm-hmm.
I want that story so badly. That's the Sith cover up job, especially, you know, after, you know, that from the novelization of Revenge of the Sith to, you know, the microchip arc in Clone Wars, like knowing how deep the conspiracy goes. I would love to read the bullshit story that Palpatine told the galaxy.
Yeah. Jared, I looked it up. The Bad Batch arc is 4 episodes.
All right, and I stand corrected. I apologize. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure it's Bad Batch, Ahsoka arc, Siege of Mandalore.
Mm.
Well, so, I was wrong.
Yeah. I still need to read Son of Dathomir and Dark Disciple.
Every time you bring up needing to read Son of Dathomir, I get ready to tell you that I'll happily loan it to you, and then I remember you're the only person on this show I don't see on a regular basis. Because I'm like, oh yeah, like I can loan you my comics when you come home. You don't live in Latrobe. No. You don't live in Latrobe. You don't live in Latrobe. I remember that every time.
That just horrible. That's just horrible realization.
It's like telling your waiter to enjoy their meal too. Yeah. But anyway, back to Clone Wars. The action in this episode was so much fun. Like,
I've realized that the first 2 episodes, I think just because of the new animation and just probably just like the new way they've utilized the camera, it just makes the action a lot more just fun.
Yes. That is one of my biggest things, is like the utilization of the camera. Like, I loved, like, you know, there was that great one take shot of like Rex and
dude, that was incredible.
Not Hunter. Tech, thank you. Rex and Tech like sprinting into the room where the transmission was coming from last week. And then this week you have that great shot whenever like right after Wat Tambor like throws shade at Rex and they're trying to get into the room where Echo is. And that like that great shot where they just kept bouncing back and forth between those 2 sides of the hallway.
Yeah.
And like you see the clones like, okay, we're gonna bank over, we're gonna like, you know, take cover over here. Bop, 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 bop. Okay, turn back around, go to the other corner, bop, 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 bop. And see them just running all over the place and Anakin taking point in the middle. Like, I just love the framing of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great to watch. It just visually, it is very pleasing. I love the action. You know, I'm so happy that like they gave Wrecker like a little bit of personality with like the whole, you know, like I kind of rolled my eyes at the whole, of course, the big guy's afraid of heights, whatever. But like the way they frame that for him is like, I'm not afraid of heights. I just have a problem with gravity.
I found that so. I still like. Do you guys know about the thing that they cut from this episode?
No. Yes. Yeah. And I'm so glad that they did, because it was so cringy.
I wouldn't have minded it.
No, it's really so funny. Shit. I thought it was stupid then, and I think it's even dumber now, especially with the Padme scene.
Yeah.
It's even worth Levi in the old reels that were on StarWars.com. Because they added the Padme scene that wasn't in there originally. The Padme moment that they did have was whenever they got into the Bad Batch's gunship. Inside of it, they had like really horny pinup art of Padme.
Oh yeah,
essentially like lewd fan art of Padme aboard their ship. And like one of them was like, "Oh yeah, that senator from the boo's a real looker, isn't she?" Yeah, she can negotiate with me any day. And Anakin just kind of like, and like Rex, and again, that's the moment they show that Rex knows, because Rex is just like, Echo, let's go, droids, clankers, shoot them. He's going to kill all of you slowly. Hey, let's go on the mission. He's gonna force choke your ass. You better shut them up. Which Rex's reaction is the only funny part about it. Is just Rex's
that. Yeah, that's funny.
I know. It's the vehicle of getting there of like, oh hey, like, like being like really. It's like you never see the clones get like oh man, she can get with me, like that, like really like a horned up.
But they're the Bad Batch.
They are. I'm glad that I would happily take that very earnest moment with Anakin and Padme over Anakin again getting jealous and possessive about her. And again, like it's because that I know we got this moment in lieu of that one that I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, I will happily trade that for that one. That's just me, though. I really enjoyed the handling of, like, the indigenous people on that planet. I love that scene where...
Go on.
Rest in peace, Baja Blast. I love the bit with Tech's translator glasses. I thought that was really clever.
That was so cool.
That was fun to watch.
I need those. We all need those.
Oh yeah, when you're in Western Pennsylvania, you need them because I can barely understand half the people here, and I've lived here my whole life.
Oh shoot!
Try being around like old people who like really love their Western Pennsylvanian isms after they've had a couple of beverages. And trying to understand like half a sentence that's coming out of their mouth, like, and you go down far in that, and chip ham, Stiller's yins, like, it's incoherent. I don't understand what I'm hearing. Like, it comes to a point where I just give up, where I'm just like, do you need another beer? Like, shake yes or no, like, again,
chipped ham.
Yeah, chipped ham, yins, and that.
Good for ham barbecue.
Yes. Oh God. Oh.
That is a comfort food here in Western PA.
Yes, it is.
I don't know about the rest of the world or the rest of the U.S. at least.
I'm trying so hard to not eat like a stone. Hello there, loyal listeners. This is your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs. We had a couple technical difficulties there and lost a few minutes at the end of the show. So, real quick, here's Spence the Mando Simpson's thoughts on both the news about the High Republic this week, as well as his mini review on episode 2 of season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Hey guys, once again, it is Spencer, and I unfortunately am not able to be on for the actual episode again this week or next week because I'm going on spring break right now, and my college choir that I'm in takes all of spring break to go on tour every spring, and so I'm going to be driving on a tour bus, singing concerts almost every day. All the way down to Charleston, South Carolina. So that's very exciting, but unfortunately it means I won't be able to record with the rest of the bunch. So again, this week I am doing a little pre-recorded thing that's going to be sliced into the show later. So here we go. So basically, this week we're talking about Season 7, Episode 2, A Distant Echo of the Clone Wars, and I'm going to share a couple thoughts about the recent news in the area of the High Republic regarding Project Luminous. So I'm just gonna hop right into the Clone Wars episode. I just finished it, and I think it's really good. I think there's a lot of character development, especially with Rex and also with Obi-Wan and with Anakin. I one of the first things that I took note of while I was watching was toward the beginning of the episode, whenever Anakin and Rex have that moment, like very secretive, very unusual. What's going on here that is more than meets the eye? And I remember from the first episode when they're in the briefing at the very beginning of the episode. And Rex and Cody are about to leave, and Anakin says, like, Rex, is there anything else? And it's really conspicuous. It's very suspicious how he says it. And so my initial thoughts on that were that Anakin had asked Rex to keep his ears open for anything regarding Ahsoka that might be going on that he hears through the grapevine, excuse me. And that he was just asking if Rex had found anything or any news to report. That was my initial thought as to why there were undertones with that conversation. But we find out that it's because Anakin has been secretly chatting with Padme. But the real character development here comes with Obi-Wan, because I think it's a bold move, because by the time of episode 3, Obi-Wan, like, he suspects, but he cannot confirm that Anakin and Padme have a relationship more than just colleagues or friends. And I guess it is a good segue from Obi-Wan being completely oblivious to it to now he knows that Anakin has been secretly having FaceTime messages with her. But interesting development there, that he kind of knows what's going on but isn't trying to stop it. I think it's interesting. But anyway, there's less meat of this episode to bite into, I think, than with the Bad Batch from last week. There's still some good stuff, and we get to see more. That I think the first episode, in terms of who's the coolest and who everybody likes the best out of Clone Force 99, I think most people would say Crosshair, because he's got like an interesting kind of like a gunslinger personality, and he chews a toothpick and he just looks like a real badass all the time. But this week I think we got to see some really cool action with Tech, who I think was the most underappreciated from the first episode. Like, he just kind of does his little thing on his arm pad and he gets people into rooms. But other than that, individually, he like great functionality on the team, but individually not so much, it seemed, from episode 1. So I think especially with the interactions with the natives on Skako Minor, his intellect was really revealed, and his value to the team was really accentuated, because he's got the technology that can understand and translate. He's basically got a protocol droid in his gear that can translate the Skako Minor native language and put it up on his little screen there. But he also demonstrated his intellectual capacity, because the text on the screen was in the native text. So either he's able to read it and pronounce the letters out of a previous knowledge, or he is just that linguistically savvy that he's able to listen to a language and like discern its syntax and its pronunciation and stuff really quickly, which is super cool. Very cool. So cool character development from Tech. That was really exciting. Kind of hilarious that Wrecker is afraid of heights, but I'm wondering why that wasn't addressed in episode 1 when they went up big elevators into tall towers and stuff. But hey, whatever. I'm not splitting hairs over that. Rex is definitely too emotionally invested in this assignment. When it comes to the military, you will not be assigned to missions that you have an emotional and personal stake in, just because it gets dicey, it gets dangerous. And I think the Bad Batch and I think Anakin have recognized that weakness in Rex's mindset during this mission. And to an extent, Rex's instinct is what keeps the team running and keeps the team moving forward and actually enables them to find Echo by the end of the episode. But it's a dangerous game to play. It's dangerous. So I'm nervous. I think if I were to make a prediction, I'm going to say that by the end of this story arc, Echo will have died anyway, and it's just going to be that much harder for Rex, and for the rest of the season, he's not going to be quite the same. So anyway, so far, one of the things I asked for from season 7 was more clone content, and so far I have not been disappointed. With 2 full-length episodes devoted mostly to clones, with just a little bit of Anakin and Obi-Wan here and there, and Mace, of course. Let's not forget Mace. But anyway, generally satisfied so far with season 7 in a very serious way. So now I will just say some things very briefly about High Republic. I have not done as much reading on this as I probably should have, so bear with me. I'm not going to have much to say here. The idea of some High Republic content is very exciting. I am more of an Old Republic guy myself. I think if you don't have Sith actively antagonizing, then it kind of loses a little bit of its luster. And so Old Republic is exciting for me because you got lots of Jedi and lots of Sith running all over the place, and there's infighting within the Sith, and there's disagreement among the Jedi, but there's, more importantly, that fighting between the two of them. So I'm a little nervous about how exciting the content for High Republic is going to be, seeing as the Sith presence will be slim to non-existent. But that also opens opportunity for some less conventional storylines, getting to see the Jedi truly in their roles as peacekeepers, putting down disagreements and insurrections, or settling disputes and stuff like that. I think in that capacity, we have not seen very much from the Jedi. Basically just in episode 1, when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are sent to negotiate on behalf of Naboo with the Trade Federation. But it would be interesting to see more content like that. But I think if they are going to make the High Republic era successful, they're going to need to find a villain that is as intellectually challenging to the Jedi as the Sith are, because, the Sith are powerful and they can fight the Jedi, but it is their strategy that causes the Jedi the most trouble, I think. And without that intellectual level of antagonizing, they're going to need to come up with something else. Like in let's see, in the old canon with the Yuuzhan Vong, they were an intellectually challenging villain for the new Jedi Order, and so they're going to need to find something like that for this to be interesting and to grip the mind of our audience. But all in all, they're starting with a clean slate, and a lot of the content that fans don't like has to do with characters that we've seen for a long time and then they've come to know and love, and then they feel have been mistreated later on. As is the case with the sequel trilogy, I think. But when you're dealing with a completely new set of characters, just look at Mandalorian. There were almost unanimously positive regard about the Mandalorian as a whole for season 1, because it's characters and content that we've never really touched before, so we don't have any expectations. So I think they have the advantage in that sense, where since we're dealing with characters that potentially have never been seen before. And again, I don't want this to turn into like a Yoda in adolescence. I don't want Yoda to be the main character of the High Republic era for the writers. A cameo here and there, sure. 1 or 2 comics about it, absolutely. But I don't want this to turn into, Yoda in his teenage years, so to speak. But new set of characters provides new opportunity, and I think it's going to be difficult for them to have dissatisfied customers with this, because as long as they write good stories, the potential for them really ticking anybody off is going to be pretty low. So that's exciting, and that's all I have to say. I'm at like 11 minutes here, so I'm going to cut it off there. thank you guys so much for listening to my rants about this. And you can find me on Instagram at SpenceMan Cosplays and on Twitter at SpenceMan49. So yeah, thanks again. Sorry to the boys in the recording studio that, again, I couldn't be with you this week. I miss you all. And thank you to our listeners. Come back next week to hopefully hear me have a couple takes if I can manage to do it while I'm on tour. But I'll see you guys real soon.
Thank you all so much for listening this week. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. I do not have producer and editor extraordinaire Travis Blackleader Grossman on hand like I typically do for shows. So I'm getting used to doing some of this stuff and probably screwed something up along the way. You guys can find our friendly neighborhood Professor Levi Baum on Twitter at Professor Levi. You can find one Connor Chikiti on Twitter at Depa Banana, and on Instagram at Depa Banana JFO. And you can also find him as one of the admins of the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics, aka Tauswift, the best goddamn Star Wars Facebook group on the planet. They're doing all kinds of wonderful stuff over there, keeping the positivity in the fandom. There's no room for negativity over in Tauswift. Everything is talking about why we love Star Wars and speaking about it earnestly and fairly, and not in a way that's meant to drag it down in all the bitter discourse that there is right now. You guys, as always, can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. Be sure to check out the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Be sure to stay posted on all of the social medias because we will be talking about announcements this week. So stay tuned for all of that. Keep your eyes on our socials. And be sure that you're listening and keeping up with everything going on in the world of nerddom. With that, I'm your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs. Thank you to Levi, Connor, Travis, Spencer, Joel, everybody who makes these shows happen from week to week to week to week to week. We are honored that you have joined us, and may the Force be with you always.